Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be making this simple top. It has this pom pom design at the bottom that really makes it stand out. So I hope you will enjoy the video, but before we get started, please don't forget to subscribe for more of my tutorials. Okay, so yeah, let's get into the tutorial. For more info about the yarn I used, please check the description box. Thank you. We're starting with a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to yarn over and skip 3 stitches and make a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. That's a double crochet. Now the 3 chains are going to count as our first double crochet, and we're going to make a total of 7 double crochets all in this same space. So make sure you have 7 double crochets, counting the chain as our first one. So once you have your 7 double crochets, you're going to count 1, 2, 3, and you're going to mark the 4th double crochet. So get a stitch marker and place it there in the middle stitch. Then you will have 3 double crochets on this side and 3 on the other side. Okay, now we are off to row 2. You're going to chain 3 and turn your work, yarn over, and you're going to make an increase. So make a double crochet on top in the same space the chain is coming out of, and then you're going to make 1 double crochet on top of the next 2 stitches. When you get to the stitch marker, you're going to take it out and make 5 double crochets all in that same space. So make 5 double crochet on top of that stitch. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now get your stitch marker. You're going to count up to the 3rd stitch from those 5 stitches you just made, and then you're going to mark that stitch. Okay, mark the 3rd stitch. Then you're going to make 1 double crochet on top of the next 2 stitches, and then you're going to make an increase on top of the last stitch, which is a chain. So place there 2 double crochets, and that ends our 2nd row, and you should have something like this. And as you can see, we increased on both sides and in the middle. So chain 1 and cut off the yarn if you're changing colors like I'm doing. If not, just continue doing what you're doing. Okay, so for row 3 we're going to repeat row 2. We're going to attach our yarn on that very first stitch after turning our work. Make a slip knot, or you can attach your yarn in any way you know how to. So yeah, insert your hook and attach your yarn. Then you're going to chain 3, make a double crochet in that same space the chain is coming out of. Then you're going to make 1 double crochet on top of the next stitches until you get to the stitch marker. So keep making 1 double crochet until you get to the stitch marker. When you get to the stitch marker, take out the stitch marker and make 5 double crochets in that same space. That's 5 double crochets, and then you're going to count to the third stitch in those 5 double crochets you just made. Then you're going to mark that stitch again, okay, especially if you are a beginner. Then you're going to make 1 double crochet until you have 1 stitch left at the end. So when you get to the last stitch, which is the chain, you're going to make 2 double crochets on top of it, like that. I'm going to show you guys one more time how to do this, and then I'll do the rest off camera. Again, make sure you mark that middle stitch, especially if you're a beginner, so you don't get confused. Okay, so row 4, we're going to repeat row 3. Chain 3 and turn your work, and make a double crochet on top of that same stitch, like where the chain is coming out of, to make an increase. And then you're going to make 1 double crochet on top of the next stitches until you get to the stitch marker. So when you get to the stitch marker, you're going to take it out and make 5 double crochets in the same space. Like that. And then you're going to place back your stitch marker on the third stitch. And then you're going to make 1 double crochet until you have 1 stitch left at the end. Alright, and then you're going to make an increase there on top of that last chain. So that's 1 and 2 to complete the row. Then you're going to chain 1 and cut off the yarn if you're changing colors. So I'm going to keep repeating this same process until this triangle is wider, and then I'll be back to tell you guys about the measurements and how big you need to make it. I have made a total of 16 rows, as you can see. I have made rows from where my top will start to where I want my v-neck to start from, and so far this measures to, it is 10.5 inches. Okay, so this is from where the top will start to where it's going, to where the v-neck is going to start from. Okay, so now we're going to work on each side separately to create the v-neck. Okay, so as we do that, we're going to be considering the measurement we took for the one rib cage to the other. So you're going to get the yarn that you're going to use and make a slip stitch, a slip knot, sorry, and then you are going to attach it on the side where you left off from the previous row. So here we had turned our work, so now we're going to attach our yarn, and nothing is going to change while starting the row. You're going to do the same thing we've been doing. You're going to keep increasing. So you're going to chain 3 and make a double crochet in that same space, and then you're going to make 1 double crochet in each and every stitch until you get to the top here. So we're going to make 1 double crochet in each stitch until you get to the top. Okay, so I have worked my way to the top, and I'm going to put back my stitch mark here because I had forgotten to, place it there. So I'm working in the last stitch, and you can see that the next stitch is the center of our work, which has the stitch marker, and we're going to leave that stitch out of work, and instead we're going to make 2 double crochets into that stitch next to the stitch marker. So basically what we're doing is making an increase right there, then chain 3 and turn your work. Then you're going to make an increase, so make a double crochet in the same stitch where the chain is, and you're going to make 1 double crochet across until you have 1 stitch left. Alright, so once you get to the end, you're going to make an increase just like how we have been doing it, making an increase at the end, and now we're doing the same around the v-neck which we're trying to make. Okay, so you're going to make an increase, then chain 3, turn your work, and you're going to repeat the same thing we've done for those 2 rows. Okay, here I forgot to change color, but you know what I mean here, so just do what you're supposed to do. I was just taken away with crochet, and yeah, I forgot to change colors, but I later had to take that row out and redo it. But yes, that's what you're going to repeat until you have enough length for your v-neck. So yeah, every time you get to the end, you're going to make an increase on top of that very last stitch, which is a chain of 3, like that. So you're going to keep increasing on both sides. So I went ahead and completed 12 rows to make the v-neck, and this is what I have so far, and I'm done with the one side of my top. When we take the measurement for this, like half of it now measures up to 15 inches, and since my top is supposed to be 30 inches long or wide, so I'm going to make 15 inches on the other side of the top as well. Okay, so make sure you have your measurements right. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side of our top, just like we just did here, and yeah, and I'll be showing you the rest. Don't cut off your yarn when you make the last row, because we're going to use that same yarn to make our strand or the chain that will go around our waist. Okay, so you're going to chain 3 and make a double crochet in that same space to create something like this, like 2 double crochets in the same space. Chain 3, yarn over, make a double crochet between the previous chain and the double crochet that you made, and you're going to repeat that over and over until you have a long chain to tie around your back. I think I made a total of 30, yeah, I think I made 30 clusters. So you make yours depending on how long you want it to be. I'm now done making my chain, and all I'm going to do is chain 1 here and cut off the yarn and pull tight. Okay, and that's it. You'll have to cut that off or weave it in. So now we're going to work on the other side of our top. So you're going to ignore the stitch where we have our stitch marker, leave that alone, but into the next one, that's where you're going to insert your hook, get your new color if you are changing colors, and you're going to attach it on that very stitch. Okay, then you're going to chain 3, that's 1, 2, 3, and into that same space make a double crochet to make an increase. Then you're going to make 1 double crochet until you have 1 stitch left. Make 1 double crochet on top of every stitch until you have only 1 left. Once you get to the end, you're going to make an increase to complete the row. So yarn over and make a double crochet, yarn over, make a second double crochet into the same stitch like that. Then you're going to chain 3, turn your work, and you're going to repeat the same process. Make your first increase, then make 1 double crochet on top of every stitch here until you have 1 stitch left at the end. Once you get to the end, you're going to make your last increase of 2 double crochets in the same space. Then you're going to cut off the yarn. I like to cut it to leave it a long tail because I'm going to weave them in. I'm not going to just cut off and leave it like that. No, I'm going to weave all of them in. Alright, so you're going to change colors just like how you did with the previous side of the top, and you're going to do the same thing. This is how mine looks. I made the same number of rows, 12 rows, and then you're going to make a chain here before you cut off the yarn. So make a chain of 3, yarn over, make a double crochet in the same space, chain 3, make a double crochet in the previous space of a chain and a double crochet, and you're going to repeat the same process here until you have a long chain that will go around your neck. All right, So here I'm done making my chain, and I'm just going to cut the yarn off and make sure that the chain is tight enough and won't come out like that. Then I'm going to make a chain on this other side as well, so I'm going to attach it. I'm going to attach my yarn at the very top, chain 3, make a double crochet into that same space, chain 3, make a double crochet, just like how we've been doing. So we're going to repeat this for this part as well, and I'll be back here shortly. I'm back, and this is what I have now, and as you can see, I have chains on all the corners of my top, so you'll have to go ahead and do that. So the next thing we're going to do is weave in our ends, and once that's done, then we're going to make the bottom design, and then we'll be done with this tutorial. Okay, so you're going to get your darning needle. Here's mine, and I'm going to weave all this in. Skip this. You're going to skip this process if you didn't have to change colors like how I did. So yeah, going to weave in the best way I can. So I'm back, and this is how my top is looking now. Everything is clean, and we're now going to make the bottom design, which is a pom-pom design, which is the pom-pom stitch. Yeah, so you're going to count and I'm sorry, for this part we're going to use a smaller hook, a 3.75mm hook. So you're going to make a slip knot, and you're going to count 2 clusters on your chain, 1, 2, and then you're going to start from the second cluster. Okay, attach your yarn there. Then you're going to make a chain of 6. Then you're going to hold on to that very last chain and add 3 more chains like that. Then you're going to yarn over, and you're going to skip 2 chains, and into the third you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook in the same space again, pull through 2, insert your hook in the same space, pull through 2. You'll have 4 loops on your hook, and you're going to do that one more last time, pull through 2, and this time you'll have 5 loops on your hook, and then pull through all. So it's 4 double crochets together. Then you'll chain 1, 2, 3, then you're going to yarn over, and you're going to insert your hook in that very first chain that you made, and you're going to make 4 double crochets together. That's 2, that's 3, and 4. You should have 5 loops on your hook. Then you're going to pull through all, chain 1, and then you should have something like this. And what you're going to do here is we're going to like close it, and to do that you're going to insert your hook in the very first chain that you made your double crochets into to close it, and you should be having something like this. Then you're going to chain 6, and you're going to skip the next cluster, that one, and you're going to make a slip stitch in the first row. You should have something like this. Then you're going to chain 6. So we're now going to repeat the same thing to make the pom pom. So hold on to the last one and add 3 chains, yarn over, skip the 2, and make your 4 double crochets together all in the same space. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. You should have 5 loops on your hook. Then pull through all, chain 3, yarn over, and make your 4 double crochets together in the very first chain, just like how you're seeing. So pull through all, chain 1, and then you're going to make a slip stitch into this chain where we made the first double crochets, but make sure that this time you go through both loops for it to be tight. And we're going to repeat that again and again until we get to the end of our top. So chain 6, then you skip the next row and slip stitch into the next one, like that. We're going to repeat that. You're going to chain 6, then you're going to hold on to that stitch and add 3 more chains, then yarn over and make 4 double crochets together into the third stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, pull through 2 until you have 5 loops on your hook. Then you pull through all, chain 3, yarn over, and into the third chain you're going to make 4 double crochets together. So it's pretty simple, guys. Just follow what I'm doing. If I'm not explaining this part very well, I'm sorry. So yeah, that's what you're going to keep repeating. You're going to chain 6, skip a row, and make a slip stitch into the next row. You should have something like that, and you're going to repeat that over and over until you get to the end. I worked my way around and I'm now at the end, and I just made my last pom-pom. So to complete this, you're going to chain 6, and then you're going to make a slip stitch in the second cluster, chain 1 and cut the yarn off like that, and fasten off. Make sure that it's tight enough and weave that in later. And once this is done, that's all we had for this tutorial. I really love how this top turned out. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and I'll see you in my next video.